Wait. Hold up. The same woman the whole internet been calling a snake for snatching another woman's husband just got on Facebook talking about her disconnecting from snakes? Nah, somebody check her temperature. Because Claressa Shields just typed out the most delusional post of 2026 and hit share like she ain't the villain of this entire storyline. The audacity is OFF the charts, the receipts are loud, and the timing is insane. Brew really woke up, looked in the mirror, saw the biggest snake in the room, and started a campaign against everybody else. Make it make sense. Real quick before we crack this open, you'll already know the drill. Smash that like, hit subscribe, turn that bell on, because what I'm about to lay out for you. Melanin Scope Media is the ONLY channel that's gonna give it to you uncut. Let's get into it. Claressa GWOAT Shields, yes, the 13-time world champion turned full-time internet character, posted a public Facebook statement declaring she's fully disconnecting from snakes. No mutual friends, no kids, no phone calls, no nothing. The post went live this week on her personal Facebook page and got reposted across Boxing IG, Threads, and X within hours. Bro really thought this was the angle that was gonna fix her image. Now let me show you why that post lit the whole timeline on fire. Let's go straight to the source. On Claressa's own Facebook, here are her exact words. When I tell you I'm fully disconnecting from snakes, I mean fully. No connection whatsoever. No mutual friends. No kids. No phone calls. No nothing. I've been like way, but people love throwing rocks and hiding their hands. It's the audacity. 2026 is really teaching me a lot about people. When I read this, I literally had to put my phone down. Bro, you cannot post this and not expect the entire internet to flip it back on you. That's the dumbest flex I've ever seen. Now line that up with Remy Reminisce Mackie, the Bronx legend herself, who dropped WYFL aka YUF*****ing lying on April 15, 2026. In the track she lets loose with bars aimed directly at her estranged husband Papoose Mackie and a new side character that fans instantly identified as Claressa. Complex reported the lyrics call out the man by name and roast the woman riding behind him in New York while she's supposed to be running a boxing career. When I heard that record I was like, oh. She didn't just hint. She said it with her chest. Then check Claressa's own response. She went live on Instagram dragging the diss, calling Remy slow, and accusing her of faking a perfect life. That line right there? That's where she lost the plot. You can't be the alleged mistress and the one playing victim in the same breath. Brew. Nah, you can't say that and expect grown people to take you seriously. Add to the pile, Layla Ali, Muhammad Allah's daughter, went on First Take and on her own platforms making it clear she is not coming out of retirement to fight Claressa. Complex reported Layla said the fight is officially off the table. And what did Claressa do? She went straight into smear mode, calling Layla a hater, a snake, accusing her of jealousy. The receipts of that post are literally captioned Claressa Shields calls Layla Ali a snake, tells her to stop hating. Bro called Allah's daughter a snake. When I saw that, I was like, you really gonna run around calling everyone snakes and then post yourself a disconnecting from snakes PSA 2 months later? And one more. Revolt posted on May 14, 2026, Claressa Shields' legacy is getting museum treatment. Her 2019 WBO middleweight championship belt will be featured in the American Museum of Natural History's new, for the win, Objects of Sports Excellence exhibit. Standard feature language. Now look at what Salita Promotions posted 1 hour later on their official channels. Claressa Shields has once again made history, becoming the only female boxer to have a championship belt inducted into the American Museum of Natural History. Inducted. Bro, museums don't induct. Halls of Fame induct. That's two completely different things. When I caught that wording change in real time, I had to do a double take. That's the move of somebody desperate to flood the timeline with fake wins. Now that we got the quotes, let's connect the dots. That snake post? Dropped less than 30 days after Remy's WYFL went viral and started climbing the charts. That's not a coincidence. That's a panic move. Any smart advisor would have told her to stay quiet, but Claressa Shields doesn't have smart advisors anymore, because most of them already disconnected from her. His new entanglement situation started bubbling publicly back in 2024 when Remy Ma first accused Papoose of cheating with the boxer. Yahoo's recap of the WYFL coverage confirms the tension goes back nearly 2 full years. So the GWAT has been allegedly in this man's orbit since before the divorce paperwork was even real. That's the timeline nobody wants to say out loud. Her Atlanta no-show happened Mother's Day weekend. The same weekend Papoose had New York obligations. Connect those dots. She skipped a paid Salita Promotions or Win Records boxing card. The first Win Records boxing card. The very label she's the face of. To camp out in New York. Bro really chose chasing a man over promoting her OWN house. And don't even get me started on Win Records itself. The structure of Win Records network, live sports, music, media verticals, looks like a copy-paste of Remy Ma's own Remy network blueprint. Same model, same lanes, slightly different name. That's not inspiration. That's the kind of carbon copy you do when you ran out of original ideas. So Claressa, your team didn't even bother coming up with their own concept? That's terrible strategy. Brew. Then the Flint house drama. Her own cousin Shalita publicly accused her of using fame to escape foreclosure. Reports surfaced alleging Claressa called Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely for a favor on a roughly $7,000 outstanding amount. Meanwhile, 699 other Flint homes in the same auction list got no Merrill phone call. No favors. No celebrity rescue. So the woman who built her brand on being Flint forever used Flint's political access for a private fix. So Claressa really thought nobody would line all these timelines up next to that snake post? Brew. We were taking notes the whole time. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Now check this out. Nobody's talking about how she structured that post. Look at the specific phrase, no kids. Why was that a category she felt the need to list? She doesn't have children with anybody. Unless you emphasizing no kids to subtly remind the audience about somebody else who has multiple kids and a wife. That's not random. That's a subliminal aimed at a specific household. And if you ain't catching it, that's because she planted it for the people who already know. Bro thought we wouldn't notice the choice of words. Embarrassing. Now zoom into people love throwing rocks and hiding their hands. That's the line of somebody who's been getting ratioed into oblivion and refuses to admit her own face is on the front of every diss. The hidden meaning? She's framing critics as cowards while she herself has been firing public shots at Layla Ali, at Remy Ma, at her cousin, at bloggers, at MVP Promotions, all by name, all with caps lock. So who's really hiding hands? Ma? Nah, that ain't it. That's the problem. She doesn't read between her OWN lines. Now check the museum wording, inducted vs featured. That single word swap is forensic gold. A feature is temporary. An induction is permanent canon. Whoever drafted that Salita post knew the difference and chose the bigger word anyway. That's not a typo. That's deliberate narrative inflation. Bro, you don't accidentally upgrade yourself to a Hall of Famer in a press release. That word was picked on purpose. And one more, look at the timing pattern. Every time Claressa is losing the narrative, a career milestone magically lands within 48 hours. Remy drops bars. Boom, museum announcement. Foreclosure goes viral. Boom, $8 million, Salita deal announcement. Layla says she ain't coming out of retirement. Boom. Claressa trains harder than ever press cycle. That's not coincidence. That's PR damage control on a schedule. If her team had half a brain, they'd space these out. Instead, they keep stacking moves so close together that any fan with eyes can see the pattern. Now let's see how the media covered this. Complex framed the WYFL moment as Remy Ma appearing to take shots. Very careful language. Hedging because they don't want a lawsuit. Cool. Safe. But remember those lyrics? Anybody with ears knows it wasn't subliminal. It was a direct address. The outlet hedged. The bars didn't. Hot new hip-hop went the other way and framed the whole thing as Claressa calling out Remy first, putting Claressa in the aggressor seat. That spin matches with that IG live we already talked about. Different headline angle. Same underlying receipts. The griot framed it as a love triangle scandal and dragged Papoose's name into the lead, putting the focus on the marriage breakdown instead of the music. That's the angle that hurts the most because it strips away the boxer versus rapper framing and exposes the situation for what it actually is, a wife, a husband, and a third party. Yahoo Entertainment kept it neutral, but published the lyrics in print form, so readers could draw their OWN conclusions. That's actually the most damning coverage, because once the bars are sitting there on the page, the situation reads itself. Now the counter-narrative. Some of Claressa's defenders are out here claiming she's the real victim, that Remy is bitter, that Papoose left before Claressa came in. But those are the same fans who thought the museum feature was a Hall of Fame induction. If you still believe that timeline after everything was just connected, you're not analyzing, you're worshipping. The receipts don't lie even when the outlets soften the wording. But here's what nobody is saying. Mainstream coverage wants you to think this is a love triangle, a messy entanglement, a boxer dating a rapper story. Nah, here's the real story they won't tell you. This whole arc is a psychological warfare operation, and Claressa is the one losing on every front while convincing herself she's winning. Think about it. Every move Claressa makes is reactive. Remy drops a song, Claressa goes live. Layla says no fight, Claressa rants. Cousin exposes the house, Claressa posts gym videos. The museum gets a feature, the team upgrades the language. None of this is offense. It's all defense dressed up in caps lock and emojis. Claressa is playing checkers while Remy Ma is playing chess, and you can see the move-by-move difference if you stop watching the highlight reel and start watching the calendar. Here's the psychological piece nobody's saying out loud, that fully disconnecting from Snake's post isn't strength, it's projection. In behavioral terms, when somebody loudly accuses the world of being what they are, that's classic deflection. The GWOAT is publicly accusing the world of doing what she's been doing for 2 years straight. The post isn't a wall, it's a window. And we're all looking right through it. Brew isn't disconnecting from Snakes. Brew is auditioning a new excuse to leave behind everybody who finally caught on to her. Remember that timeline pattern we connected? It reveals something brutal. Every milestone she announces is actually a shield against the next expose she knows is coming. That's not a winner's pattern. That's a hostage situation with her own image. And the man she's chasing? He's not a prize, he's a handler. He keeps her busy enough chasing him around New York that she keeps missing her OWN boxing obligations. That's the wildest part. He's draining her career while she thinks she's gaining a relationship. Allegedly, of course. And let's talk industry politics for a second. Why hasn't a single major women's boxing voice, MVP promotions, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor's camp, none of them, come out in defense of Claressa during any of this? Why is Salita Promotions the only label still holding the line? Because the industry is quietly backing away. They see the foreclosure noise. They see the no-shows. They see the museum wording controversy. And they see the diss track climbing. Nobody wants to attach their brand to a star in freefall. That's the forbidden take. Claressa Shields isn't being hated on. She's being quarantined. The boxing world, the hip-hop world, and the culture are all backing away at the same time, and her response is to scream Snakes at the people walking out the room. That's not a comeback. That's the sound of somebody realizing the building is empty. And if Claressa had half a brain about strategy, she'd shut her phone OFF for 6 months, train in silence, win a real fight against a real top contender, and let the work speak. But she won't. Because she can't. Because the work isn't the brand anymore. The drama is. And that's the truth they won't tell you. And this is where everything flips. Within the next 60 to 90 days, Claressa is gonna post another big milestone. Probably a fight announcement, a new endorsement, or a tell-all interview where she finally talks about Papoose. Watch for it. The pattern says she can't sit still when the narrative isn't centered on her. And when she does pop out, she's gonna look desperate screaming into a timeline that's already moved on. Remy Ma doesn't need to drop a second diss. Remy already won the first round by making Claressa react. The silence from the Bronx camp is gonna hurt the GWOAT more than any second verse ever could. Now if Remy does come back with another track, and the streets are already begging for it, Claressa is not ready. She memoized the first 1 bar full bar on live. She's not in the booth answering. She's in the comments arguing. Mark my words. If Remy drops a part 2, Claressa's only response is gonna be another Facebook essay and another emergency PR announcement. We've seen what Remy Ma did to opponents who underestimated her on wax. Claressa doesn't even rap. She doesn't stand a chance in that lane. Her team is gonna beg her to stay quiet, and she's gonna ignore them and make it worse. This is gonna be the moment everybody remembers, as when the GWOAT brand cracked. 5 years from now, when boxing historians look back at women's boxing, they're gonna talk about Amanda Serrano's PPV numbers, Katie Taylor's trilogy, and Claressa's meltdown. That's the legacy that's getting carved in real time. The museum belt is gonna come back home in a few months when the exhibit rotates out, and nothing about her trophy case is gonna be permanent except the receipts the internet kept. Brew is watching the culture move on without her, and there's nothing she can do about it because she keeps choosing chasing a married man over chasing greatness. Whatever happens, one thing's clear: Claressa already lost. Real talk. The GWOAT can post 100 more disconnecting from Snake's PSAs, but the timeline already saved the screenshots. The mirror is right there. Claressa. We're just standing next to it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is she the biggest snake in her own story, or am I being too harsh? Smash that like, hit subscribe, ring the bell. Melanin Scope Media spills the cup nobody else will touch. We back tomorrow. Stay woke. And by the way, tomorrow we're cracking open something wild about what Papoose has been doing in New York that even Claressa doesn't know about yet. You do not want to miss that one.